Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first session on polity and constitution. I hope I am audible as well as visible. Great, audible and visible. Amazing. So we'll wait for a few minutes, and in the meantime, others will keep on joining, and then we'll begin our discussion for the day. Okay, so let's begin now. Now, this class over the course of next 24 days or 24 working days, Monday to Friday, every day from 5 to 8:30, we'll be discussing about a topic under GS paper 2. So GS paper 2 comprises of four topics: polity and constitution, governance, social justice, and international relations. So our topic of concern is polity and constitution. Okay, so welcome everyone. And since I'm audible as well as visible to most of you, in case there is any issue with the voice or you can't see me suddenly, just refresh your screen, refresh your web page. It is more likely that the error would be from your side. So it can simply be solved through refreshing the screen. Okay. Now, this class or the classes are going to be, as I said, from 5 to 8:30, and a very important element is a break. Of course, we'll have a break somewhere around 6:40, 45. A 10 to 50 minutes of break depending on how we finish the topic will also be there. So let's now begin this amazing journey that I always say of this constitution. We'll be discussing about various provisions of our constitution, the statutes, laws, provisions, various landmark judgments, right? Various bodies, their functions, issues, challenges, concerns, all such things. But yes, keeping in mind the UPSC syllabus, because ultimately we're here to, clear the examination. Yes, knowledge of polity is very important. Any informed citizen should have basic information on polity, right? But beyond that, our concern is also to clear the examination. So the focus has to be always on what is relevant content for the examination, right? Otherwise, the topics in UPSC are never ending, right? So with this, let's begin our discussion. First up, in every introductory class, since this is the first class of polity and constitution, three things are important. Number one is, why are we going to study polity? Why? What's this obsession? You are spending your evening here 3.5 hours. for the next 1 month, wasting your time. You could have been out playing cricket, roaming around with friends, etc., watching some Netflix series, but you are devoting your time, precious time, into studying polity. So, what's the importance of polity in the prelims and in the main examination? Number one. And number two, what exactly is the syllabus? What do we need to cover? These two things, and then, of course, what is that magical book list? Those reference books that if you study those material, those resources, you would score amazing marks in this topic. So we'll come to the so-called magical book list as well, right? But first up, why? So if you look at the previous year questions in the prelims, so I hope everybody here knows that in prelims you have 100 questions, each question worth 2 marks, the total being 200 marks. And yes, there is negative marking, right? So these are the number of questions that have been asked from polity in the last 10-11 years. So in 2011, 12 marks worth questions into 24 marks questions, 2012, 20 marks questions, so on and so forth. But let's just focus on the questions asked after 2014. Why? Because till 2014, marks of CSAT were added in the calculation of total marks scored by an aspirant in the prelims examination. And based on this total, you were either eligible or you were rejected by UPSC to sit in the main examination, right? So, as far as the cutoff is concerned, cutoff, what's the cutoff? For those who don't know, cutoff refers to the qualifying score, that minimum score below which all the students are rejected, and if you get a score above cutoff, you are selected for the next round, that is a subjective examination, right? So in 2015, 15 questions were asked, meaning 15 into 2, 30 marks questions were asked from polity and constitution, right? And in 2015, the cutoff was 107. 107 marks out of 200 was the cutoff. In 2016, a very bad year for polity, just 6 questions were asked. Difficult to justify my role also, right? But anyway, and the cutoff increased. The cutoff in 2016 has been the highest in the last few years. Highest, 116 out of 200. And then we have seen a slow dip in the cutoff. 2017, amazing year for polity. 22 questions were asked, 44 marks worth questions, and cutoff dipped sharply to 98. Sorry, 105. 105. In 2018 and 2019, 15 marks questions in both the years from polity, cutoff came down. In both these years, cutoff was 98 marks. 98 marks out of 200. Not even 50% marks, right? In 2020, I feel was an year where the easiest possible questions that could have been asked from polity were asked. And the cutoff came down further to 92.5. In 2021, 18 questions were asked. Cutoff has come down further now, 87.54. Last year in 2022, 10 questions were asked. Cutoff has been 88, 88.22 to be exact for the open category. This year also, we have 15 questions which have been asked from polity. Now, since the exam is not yet over, we are yet to know the cutoff, right? So, but you can expect the cutoff to be anywhere in the zone of 90, 95, not more than that. Now, my idea to tell you the cutoff is to help you understand and also place your expectations reasonably, because most of you have come from all the CBSE schools, right? And in the CBSE, you see the marks that toppers get these days: 99% marks, 99.4, 99.6, 0.8, and still the topper is sad, a very sad face. I lost zero point 0.2 marks, emotional. Let them come to UPSC. The toppers in UPSC get 50% marks, right? At 50%, you are declared a topper. So that will be a pleasant surprise for them. So the idea being that you have to understand and have your expectations reasonably placed, so as to not feel uselessly demotivated. That if there is a MCQ paper of 100 questions and you don't score 140 marks, you are feeling sad. You don't need to score 140 marks. It's very difficult to score 140 marks, and it's not required also. So that's there. So polity is sufficiently important. You see, around if you score 10% marks in polity, you will be one third of your cutoff in most cases, right? Sometimes even more. That's there. And normally the questions in prelims from polity are on the easier side compared to, say, other topics that are there in UPSC. Second thing is the syllabus. Now, what's the syllabus of polity as far as UPSC is concerned? So UPSC has given us this syllabus, though nothing is clear. This is such a brief syllabus that you can make out nothing from what exactly is the expectation. Nevertheless, let's see. Indian polity and governance. So first question. We are taking this class on polity, and what exactly is the meaning of polity? So polity refers to form of government. Like in India, we follow what form of government? So we follow parliamentary form of government. A parliamentary form of government. That's what we follow in the country. So Indian form of government, and of course governance, the constitution, then the political system in the country. Political system refers to the process of making government decisions. That's called the political system. Then Panchayati Raj, the local self governance in the country, public policy, and also rights issues. Rights issues refers to fundamental rights, FRs, fundamental rights in the country. So normally very easy questions are asked from this topic. Say they'll ask you a question: right to privacy is a part of which fundamental right? Right to marry somebody of your choice is a part of which fundamental right? These kind of questions. But yes, to tell you frankly, the syllabus is not uh, quite detailed when it comes to prelims. Anyway, moving on to the next stage, the main examination, which has two parts, the subjective and the interview. So the subjective part has how many questions? So in the mains paper, GS paper 2, 250 marks. You have 20 questions in total, 10 questions worth 10 marks each, and 10 questions worth 15 marks each, totaling it to 20 questions, 250 marks. So you can see that any given year, 2013 onwards, that's when the syllabus changed and we have started following the new pattern. So 2013 onwards, you'll observe that till 2022, we have seen roughly 80 to 100, 110 marks worth questions out of 250 from polity and constitution. And I'll just remind you, I am not focusing on questions coming from, say, governance, etc. Right? So it is strictly polity and constitution. So quite a large, sizable chunk of uh, marks have been allocated to polity in the mains also. This makes this topic very important. That's the justification part. So don't worry, you are not wasting your time. You are studying a very, very important topic. Clear? Now, when you look at the syllabus of the main examination, that's where UPSC has issued some clarity. So here, things are much more clear compared to the prelim syllabus. So here, the syllabus says Indian Constitution, historical underpinnings, a topic you'll be covering under your modern India, right? The Councils Act, the Government of India Acts, etc. Evolution, features of the Constitution, amendments. So, a very good thing about our Constitution is that this rule book, we call this a living document, something which can grow, which is alive, because this Constitution is open to changes. It allows itself to be modified. That's called amendment. So far, we have made 105 such amendments. In this regard, our constitution is quite detailed. Uh, uh, and also, it is quite flexible compared to, say, a country like USA. The US Constitution was made in 1789 after the Philadelphia Convention. 1789. And from 1789, they have made only 27 changes. In fact, the first 10 changes were made in 1791 only, the Bill of Rights. So, Indian Constitution is way more flexible if you compare it to some other Western constitutions. Anyway, then see, the syllabus also says significant provisions, not the entire constitution. A big misconception that we have to mug up the entire constitution. That is not required. You just have to know the important provisions, right? The important, selectively, those articles which are relevant for us. That's it. And then basic structure, a very unique and interesting concept developed by the Supreme Court of India in a case that some of you must have heard called the Keshwanand Bharati case. So, basic structure, uh, in the simplest of terms, means what? There are some things in the constitution which are beyond amendments. Yes, we can modify the constitution, we can change things, of course, but can we change everything is a question. For example, can today India be made a dictatorship? Can today we say India is no longer democracy? India has a new king. Narendra Modi is the king. Rahul Gandhi is the king. Can you make all these statements? Of course not. We cannot. We cannot make certain changes because those elements, those aspects of our constitution are a part of basic structure, the most important elements. That's what's basic structure. When we study fundamental rights, we'll discuss in detail what is this basic structure. Okay. Now, second thing would be functions and responsibilities of the union and the states. Their issues, their challenges pertaining to federal structure. Now, what's the meaning of this federal structure? Federalism. Federal refers to a form or type of government which is characterized by a central government and the regional government, right? National government and the provincial government, union government, state government. That's the concept of federal, division of power between center and states. Federal, division of power between center and states. So this is what is federalism. So we'll have to also understand about the federal structure, devolution of powers, devolving, right? Providing for powers and finances, money up to the local levels. What is local level? Tell me. Whenever you hear this word local level, it refers to the local self government, which is what? Panchayats, municipalities. So that is what is local levels. And let me tell you, this topic is extremely important. Don't just go by the fact that there's a very vague kind of mention here. No, this particular topic is extremely important, and rest assured, you will get a question in the main examination from this topic, in all likelihood, right? So maybe in every 5 years, once a question may not be asked, which is again not possible. This topic will give you one question in a main examination, a very important topic, right? Okay. Then separation of powers between various organs. Separation of power between various organs. So we have the concept of L E J. What is that? Legislature, executive, judiciary. LEJ. Then dispute redressal mechanism. How to resolve the disputes between LEJ and the corresponding institutions. Then the parliament, the state legislature. We have to study the structure, their functioning, conduct of business, their powers, the privileges, and of course, any issues that arise out of these things. Clear? Now, then structure, organization, and functioning of the executive as well as judiciary, the ministries, departments of the government. One more thing, when we said that the panchayats are very very important, along the same lines, I need to also tell you that what is also very important is judiciary. In the recent times, there have been questions from judiciary not just in prelims, also in the main examination. So we need to focus on this topic with all sincerity, because you will get a question from judiciary, whether it is with respect to the issues concerning judiciary, or a topic like activism. What are all these things? Details later on. Or PILs, that is public interest litigation, etc. But again, an extremely important topic. Clear? Then, now in our country, we all know that we have periodic elections, right? The government is temporary. It is subject to changes. Every 5 years, we can, if we want to, change the government, right? Change our elected representatives. So, to govern the process of elections, there is a law in the country, and that law is called RPA, the Representation of People's Act. So, there are two laws. One is RPA 1950. The other is RPA 1951. So while we are studying elections, we'll also be looking at these two laws. Then appointment to various constitutional posts. So we'll be studying about some constitutional bodies, bodies like National Commission for Scheduled Castes, National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, National Commission for Backward Classes, Election Commission of India, Finance Commission, etc. All these bodies will be covered. Then the powers, the functions, and responsibilities of various constitutional bodies, right? Then we'll study statutory, regulatory, and various quasi-judicial. What is quasi? Quasi means semi, partially judicial bodies, right? Partially judicial. So quasi-judicial refers to bodies which are somewhat like judiciary, meaning they perform judicial functions but may be allowed some leeway in the performance of those functions. So may be given more freedom from the typical rules of procedure, etc. A very good example is tribunals. So we'll be studying about all these topics. Now, there are some things that you will not be covering here, will be a part of governance. So let me just clarify here before you, in the middle of the class in future, say, what about this topic? Topics like most of the statutory bodies. Statutory bodies like, say, uh, CVC, Lokpal, CIC, CVC, Lokpal, CIC, NHRC, NCW, etc. All such body, CBI, right? Executive body. We'll cover all these bodies under governance. It's a separate module, will be taught separately. Okay. Then some other topics like bodies like UPSC, SPSC, bodies like CAG, they will all be covered under governance module, not under polity. Are we clear? So we'll be covering these things under governance, which is a separate module, and you'll have separate classes allocated for this topic. This is going to be our syllabus for polity and constitution. Let me just summarize the syllabus once again, that what exactly is the expectation of UPSC. So first up, the expectation is to know the constitution. First thing, constitution. Of course, not all the articles, right? Select articles. At the end of every module, I will tell you which articles are important. You can refer to those articles on your own also. Let me just help you out with the syllabus and book list first, and I'll discuss what exactly is required. So don't worry, nothing to panic. Second thing, we also need to study some important statutes. What is a statute? Statute simply means law. If you want to use simple terms, say law. If you want to impress somebody, use statute. It's the exact same thing, right? Then we have, in the recent times especially, we have observed that Supreme Court judgments, Supreme Court directives, Supreme Court observations also become extremely important, right? Then sometimes some executive orders, executive notifications, or orders can also become important. Executive refers to government. What you say is the government is actually the executive. Okay? Now, beyond this, one more thing. And what is that? That is conventions. What are conventions? Conventions are customary ways of doing things which have the same force as that of law. Conventions are basically customs in the country. Not everything is written in the rule books. Some things are just practiced, but they are practiced in with such rigidity that you will start feeling, is this a law or what? But it's not a law. It's not mentioned anywhere. The sincerity with which it is practiced makes us feel that, oh, it's as good as a law. For example, uh, I hope you all are aware there is a person called governor. Yes or no? Governor. Now, governors are people in the state. There is a constitutional provision, Article 147. Details later on. Article 147, 157, which talks about the qualification of governor. Who is eligible to become a governor? What's the criteria? Number one, age criteria. You have to be at least 35 years of age and you have to be a citizen of India. That's it. These two are the only criteria, no other criteria mentioned in the constitution. But if you observe governors of any any state, any state, you will always find that the governor never belongs to your state. You please search for the governor of your state. He or she will always be an outsider. Take an example of governor of Kerala, always in news, Arif Muhammad Khan. He belongs to UP. The governor of UP, Anandiben Patel, belongs to Gujarat. Governor of Gujarat, Acharya Devrat, belongs to Haryana. Governor of Haryana, uh, B. Dattatreya, belongs to Telangana. You keep on doing this. You realize that the governor of every state is always an outsider. It's a convention. Go to Tamil Nadu. The governor of Tamil Nadu is R.N. Ravi, belongs to Bihar. Bihar, Fagu Chauhan, belongs to UP. Go to Rajasthan. Kalraj Mishra belongs to UP. The idea is that outsiders have always been made governors. Now, why is and hows later on? For example, the reason here is governors, if they're outsiders, they will never be involved in any kind of one-upmanship with the chief minister. They will be refraining from interfering in the local politics and will leave the CM to handle things on his or her own. So, to avoid excessive interference, outsiders are normally appointed. And this practice is so strictly followed that it has never been broken except once. Just once back in 1967, there was a governor called Venkat Vishwanath who belonged to Kerala, right? And he was made the governor of Kerala. Only known case, right? So this is with respect to the governors. And this is what is meant by conventions. Sometimes some conventions are important. As and when the time comes, I'll tell you what all these conventions are. Okay? So we are done with two important elements. Number one is the importance of polity, and number two is the syllabus. I would request you for the course of next few days, right? Please read the syllabus on your own so that you get a hang of what exactly is the expectation of UPSC, right? Now, third, and by and large, the most fascinating thing is the book list. What is that magical book list? If I could read and read only those 20 questions and vomit on the paper and clear the examination and become the IS officer, why to study for 2 years? Now, that may not be the case, but I'll tell you general book list. Now, these two are NCRT books of class 9th and class 10th Uh, my advice is ignore these books. Don't study these books. These books are too basic in nature, extremely basic. If you have these books, right, sell it to somebody else. Clear? Please sell it to some young aspirant. Tell him or her, very good book, take it. But don't study. It is just going to be extremely basic and generic information, which may not really be of any help to you, right? Now, if there is any person who is in class 11th or 12th right now, right? But if you are already in 11th and 12th right now and you're preparing for UPSC, maybe you can give this book a read. Maybe. But for people in graduation, please don't. So, some of you may say, sir, but if it is not required, why is it mentioned here? It is mentioned here for me to mention that you should not read it. Okay? That's why NCRTs are not always important, and not all NCRTs are important. So, misconceptions also need to be cleared. Are you clear? Okay. So, this is not required. Okay. Just one small point. I'll launch a poll. A for yes, B for no. Or even better, A means school, B means graduation or college post graduation, and C means if you are a working professional. And one more, D means if you are a full time aspirant. So that I get to know what group I am dealing with. If you are in 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, type A. If you are in graduation, college, type B, so on and so forth. Okay. Don't write here. Here the instructions. Calm down before typing things. Instructions are very important. Please have patience. Right? So I am choosing anything. Mark your point letter now. Okay. A lot of you are in graduation. Some of you are full-time aspirants. Then a lot of you are working professionals. A few in school also. It's okay. So if you are in class 11th, or let's simply write this, school students can read this book. Can read the books. Others, please don't read these books. Please. Next, two more NCRTs. These are NCRTs of class 11th. Okay. One of which is Indian Constitution at Work, and the other is Political Theory. Both are again NCRTs. Now, this NCRT is a must read. Everybody has to read this book. It's mandatory. Are we clear? This book is a must read. And over the course of this book has 10 chapters. So normally at the end of every class, I give some kind of, I would not say homework, but yes, I mean, I think that's what it is, homework. In case you do not follow a timetable and you find it difficult to keep up with studies, so I'll give you at least some tasks from my side. So the expectation is that Monday to Friday, Monday to Friday, 5 days, please read 5 chapters this week, 5 chapters next week. Then third week, revise the first five. Next week, revise next five, right? And the final week, please revise two chapters on one day to finish off three readings of the book while we discuss other things in the class. Are we clear on this? Everybody, this book is available online. You can simply download from the NCRT website. Don't wait for anything. When will this book come? Is it there in the market or not? Please. Excuses have to be avoided. Please download from NCRT website. You can download hundreds of videos, right? You can download reels, etc. You can download the book also. Possible. Somebody says link of the book. That's why I said you are so adept at downloading Instagram reels, sharing this and that, taking screenshots to prove others wrong. You can always find out, Google search, right? And download this. Clear? Anyway, second thing, Indian Constitution at Work, class 11th. Now, this book also has 10 chapters, but basically, what we are going to do is we'll be studying this book only, but in much more detail. So, actually, the UPSC syllabus is this book only, but in way more detail. So, Lakshmikant, the book I'll be referring later on, is this book only in way more detail. So, this book can be avoided, right? Can be read. This is completely optional. But if you are preparing for the exam in 2024 or 25, don't read this book. It is just going to waste your time. Clear? Please don't. But yes, if you are preparing for 2026, 27, 28, 29, etc., you can read this book. Though I will be teaching you things which are way beyond what is mentioned in the book. So this will not be required. We'll start from here only and go to very high level. But still, if somebody wants to read this book, please do. Clear? Okay. Now, beyond this, I hope the NCRT doubts have been cleared. Don't be obsessed. Whatever you have heard, please read NCRTs from 6th to 12th. There are no NCRTs only for polity from 6th to 12th. What I have mentioned here are the only NCRTs. So, please, what has been said should be sufficient as per my advice. Of course, you are free to do what you want with your life. Who is stopping you? Clear? Okay. Now, just to point this question out, this question came in the 2019 examination. In the last few years, you must have discussed or must have been reading that in our country, secularism has gone down the drain. The government is trying to play the religion card, etc., and all parties do the same thing, right? So it has had a very negative impact. Minorities are suffering. All this is there, right? But the point is, in 2019, now the entire country, all media houses, everybody is discussing on how India is suffering, India is burning. But UPSC has asked an exactly opposite question. UPSC says, forget what is being told in the media. You please tell me, what can a country like France, France here refers to the West, what can a country like France learn from Indian constitution's approach to secularism? What can they learn from India? A very unique question. Now, for those who have not seen this, they may find it very challenging to attempt it. So, this question was directly taken from political theory. This book, NCRT class 11th, chapter 8, secularism. The entire content was taken from this chapter only. Only if you had read the chapter, you'd be able to comprehensively write your answer. Now, in this book, they talk about USA versus India. USA represents the Western model, which is same as that of France, right? So not now, this is not the reason that, oh, because the question was asked, let's now read NCRT. No, NCRT, this book is anyway very important. It is going to give you a lot of fodder material for the examination. So please read this book. Clear? Okay. Now, of course, very important is Lakshmikant. Now, see, Lakshmikant is a great book for prelims. For mains, not so much. And as far as Lakshmikant is also concerned, selective reading is what I would recommend. So the first target should be, right? First target should be to read the class notes. You will have the PPTs, and I'm writing all these things on the PPTs. By the end of the class, you will be able to download these PPTs. So mug up those things first. And for further clarification, if you want, please read Lakshmikant. I will refer to the chapters also, right? So any edition is okay. Now, if you have the third edition, I think it would be better to buy the new edition, right? That would be more appropriate. But if you have the sixth edition, there is absolutely no need to purchase the seventh edition. Are we clear? If there are some new chapters added, you can take a printout of that. No need to purchase the new edition. Please don't waste money like this. Okay? So I'll be referring to the chapters from the sixth edition of this book. In case you want to, please read those chapters. There is no compulsion, frankly. Now, every civil servant, in fact, every citizen of this country, should know or at least should keep a copy of the Indian Constitution. So there are various publications like Professionals, we have the Universal, and this as well, right? So various publications are there, PM Bakshi, etc. You can purchase any Constitution of India book of any publication. Okay, any publication. It is of no relevance which publication, the content is the same. Now, some of you may say, no, sir, I don't want to purchase enough. I have no money to purchase books. I only have money to drink and eat and make merry, but no money for books. No problem. You have internet, right? So, what you can do is at least download the PDF of the Constitution. Google search Constitution of India PDF. You will get the website. The domain name will be legislative.gov.in. On this particular link, you will find copy of the Indian Constitution in multiple languages. Download in any language you want, and keep the notebook or keep the PDF. You can take a printout of it, you can keep it in the soft form, but keep it. Why I'm telling you is because at the end of every module, I will be telling you the important articles, and I would want you to please go through those articles on your own. Okay, you would know the content, so it's better to read the article also. It will help you develop the legal language that will help you a lot in writing answers in the examination. Clear? Okay. So this is going to be the book list. I hope things are clear so far. No doubts as far as the things I have explained so far, right? Now, moving on, one very important thing, if you observe, you know, in that previous UPSC prelims examination, a question was asked with reference to Gucci, sometimes mentioned in the news. Consider the following statements: it is a fungus, it grows in some Himalayan forest areas, etc. Look at this Instagram handle: the rarest and the yummiest Gucci mushrooms, most expensive mushrooms are only found in Himalayas. It seems like the paper setter was following this channel or this handle and set the paper. questions. So the point is, should we start following Instagram also now? Now that is something that you have to decide. I will not make any statement whether you should follow or should not follow. Okay? Clear? Anyway, so coming to summarizing everything, the final book list or the reference. See, when it comes to what is the book list now, this is what I'm mentioning here, and I think this should suffice. So please, after every 2 days, rather than studying and revising, don't waste time in asking, sir, what is the book list? Please, these are all tactics used by students who have no interest in studying. Trust me, I have seen way more questions like these than you have devoted time into studying. So it's okay. Rather than wasting time here, please put down your effort on the books and study. Okay. So this is going to be the Insta page names. Hey guys, excuse me. This was just a joke. Somebody is saying, please, what is this Insta ID? I have to follow. Don't follow this Insta ID. Are we clear? I got a minor heart attack hearing all these things. Guys, please, it was meant to be a joke. Somebody is wanting to follow the Instagram ID to get questions of UPSC. No, 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 no. UPSC will not ask questions from this Instagram ID. Okay, okay. Just calm down. Now, so the final book list. Number one, the class PPTs, the class notes with the annotations, what I write on the notes. Number two, the copy of Constitution of India, PDF or book, whatever you feel like, it's okay. Does not matter. Number three, the NCRT book, Political Theory. Number four, Lakshmikant, selective reading. I will tell you which chapters are important as and when the time comes. Don't tell me, sir, tell me right now only. It's okay. Don't worry. As when the time comes, we'll get the relevant chapters. And lastly, what is extremely important, especially for paper 2, is current affairs. Okay, current affairs. Now, for current affairs, I'm sure you know this thing that comes in your house daily, newspaper. Have you ever heard of this thing called newspaper? Right? So, newspaper, either the Hindu or Indian Express, anything is okay. Though I would prefer the Indian Express, that you read Indian Express, but it's okay. You can read any newspaper, the Hindu or Indian Express. Don't read other newspaper. Don't read both also. Okay, just pick and choose one. Clear? It's either or, not both. Don't read Times of India, etc. Yes, those are amazing newspapers, fun newspapers. Eat tomatoes, grow your height, who's running away with whose spouse. Very nice. Interesting news, but not meant for examination. Now, second thing, please follow the monthly magazine. So on the Byju's website, you have the monthly magazine, right? Please download it and read the monthly magazine on a daily basis. So the idea, I'll tell you a simple technique to read the monthly magazine. Do one thing from, not today, of course, the day is over. Tomorrow onwards, 1 hour every day. That's it. Nothing else. 1 hour every day. Devote it to reading the monthly magazine. Any time of the day. Pick and choose that. That from 6 to 7 in the morning, 12 to 1 in the afternoon. But that time should be strictly devoted to reading the monthly magazine. How many pages? Ideally, we should try to read at least 10, 12 pages. But if you read 4 pages also, no problem. But be sincere. So that hour has to be very precious, should always be devoted to the monthly magazine only. Come what may in your life. You are feeling sad, you had a breakup, it's okay. Read the magazine, then start crying. No problem. You're out on a date. Tell your date, please wait right now. Go back home, read the magazine, then come back on the date. That's how important that particular time is going to be for you. Are we clear? Please don't skip on this. And then the third thing, Yojana and Kurukshetra. These two are magazines. You have to read these magazines, but not the entire magazine, just the gist, the summary of the magazine. That's it. Clear? What you can do? Very simple. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 hour. Yojana. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 1 hour. Kurukshetra. You'll get the gist also on the Byju's website. Clear? The compilation of the Yojana or Kurukshetra. I hope this point is clear. Now, one point. For people, what monthly magazine to read? If appearing in 2024, then January 23 to April 24. Are we clear? Follow this pattern only. Clear? So, if appearing in 2025, then January 24 to April 25. Okay? This is for your monthly magazine. Monthly magazine. So, people who are appearing in 2026, 27, 28, 29, don't read the monthly magazine. I mean, you can simply go through it if you want to. There is no need to mug up everything. Clear? You can focus on reading the newspaper. That's what you should focus on. Just casual reading of the newspaper. Nothing beyond that. But when you're preparing for the next year, you have to read the monthly magazine. But Yojana and Kurukshetra has to be read by everybody. Whether you're appearing next year or in 2040, we don't care. These two must be read by everybody. Are we clear? The gist or summary of Yojana will be available on again Byju's website. You can get it from there. Okay. Now one more thing. When it comes to newspaper, now some people who are reading the monthly magazine, they may say, sir, if I'm already reading the monthly magazine, what's the point of reading the newspaper? So yes, you may skip the newspaper, but even then, in the newspaper, read at least the editorial. This has to be read. So in the newspaper, Some of the pages in between you have to see and read the editorials on your own. Are we clear? This must be done by everybody, whether you are appearing next year or 25 or 26, does not matter. I hope now things are clear. Now, some of you may say, sir, what is this editorials? So, for that, innocent aspirants, you have to take a newspaper first and go to the middle pages. You'll find various articles and not news items. Those articles are called editorials. Okay. So, not everything can be shown like this. Sometimes you have to take the effort also yourself, right? This is by far too much of spoon feeding. But when the spoon comes to your mouth, you have to open your mouth. So, taking that newspaper is like opening your mouth and chewing the food. Okay. So, this is it. Now, there are other such books, some very nice books. Books like D.D. Basu, books like Subhash Kashyap. These are great books, very nice books. If you have these books, please sell them immediately to somebody else. Right? Any newcomer, new aspirant, tell them, come here, take this book, magical book, sell it. Don't read these books. These books are very nice but have lost their purpose or relevance for UPSC. The amount of effort required to read these books for your examination and derive benefit, the cost benefit is very poor. Clear? You will have plenty of resource material available here. These things are sufficient. If you are able to follow this and retain this much only, that will be way more than what is required for the examination. Right? So having these books, yes, you can keep these books in your house, take a selfie from time to time and post on Instagram to confuse everybody that you are reading all these books. But please don't follow all these books. Not required now. Outdated. Okay? Beyond that, what else is required? We have to solve the PYQs. Plus, PYQ. What is PYQs? Previous year questions. Previous year questions. Both for prelims and the mains. So, as far as these questions are concerned, I will be incorporating those questions in the classes only. As and when the time comes, the topic comes, I have in the class PPTs those PYQs. For prelims for now, this week on Friday, if everything is okay, you are alive, I am alive, which we are likely to be, I will take the answer writing session 1 hour or maybe around 45 minutes towards the end. I will be discussing answer writing just this Friday. So please don't panic. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, no discussion on mains. On Friday, I will tell you about answer writing, some tips and techniques from my side. Of course, you are experts. Some of you, of course, are experts in writing answers with half-baked, means complete knowledge. So, but you would not need any help. For others, some kind of help. And once we are done with this session of answer writing, this coming Friday, then from the next Monday onwards, we will have the mains questions also along with the topics we teach in the class. Clear? But anyway, we already have the recordings of all these mains questions, the PYQs in the tablet. I think I have recorded those things. You can watch those videos as well. But anyway, more on answer writing on Friday. Till then, please don't worry. Focus on what is being taught in the class. Now, apart from it, solve the mock tests, the class tests that you'll have. Please solve them. Don't skip tests. That next time, there is no next. Second thing, and which is more important, is every day starting tomorrow. Every day starting tomorrow, you will have, I will incorporate 5 questions for the day, right? From the previously taught topics. So tomorrow the class will begin at 5 only, but we will start with those 5 MCQs. I'll display the MCQs, I'll launch the poll, and you'll have to mark the answer. That's how every day will begin for the next 23 days. Clear? Now, of course, in the offline classes, when I take a class test, I give chocolates to the person who gets the highest score. But here, since we're not face to face, no chocolates, no GPay, no phone pay. Sorry, but yes, if you ever top, keep a screenshot of that. If you win, if we meet in the future, you can always claim a chocolate from me. Okay, don't worry. The test will be from the topics that were taught till yesterday. Clear? Okay. So that's it. And beyond this, what is most important is revision. I think every faculty will tell you the same thing, that it is more important to read the same source multiple times than reading multiple sources once only, right? So, just like the dialogue in Chandni Chowk to China, the idea is that revision is the key to clearing the examination. I mean, I am wasting 2 3 minutes here saying the same thing, but please understand that revision is of utmost importance. Revise these annotations 4 to 5 times before taking the next class. Clear? Everybody? Now, uh, apart from this, one more thing, an information, two pieces of information. Number one, I think you had the previous classes which were conducted. I'm not sure which topic that was. So you'll get a feedback form. Please fill the feedback form. But secondly, right, uh, the classes that we have, the live classes, the recordings of those classes are available for 7 days. Live class recordings. Now, this does not mean that you don't attend the live class. Are we clear? Do you understand this? The class is live class only. Please don't skip it. I will read, I will see the videos again later on. In your school days, in your coaching institute, in your IT, medical, etc., did you have this option? No, right? You had to go and attend the class, right? So the advantage is that you are sitting in your house and attending the class. Now, don't just be too lethargic to not even attend those classes. In fact, 7 days is too much of time. That should not be there, frankly. It just inculcates lethargy that for 7 days the video is available. But please attend those classes live only, get your doubts resolved, and finish off the topic as and when required. Don't wait. Those golden, it's like, we start by reading a newspaper. 2 3 days we follow it. On fourth day, getting bored. Okay, I'll read it tomorrow. And that tomorrow never comes. The newspaper keeps on getting piled up, and you'll never read it. So please don't make a mockery of the money you have put in and the time you are putting in. Okay, please follow things diligently. I hope everything is clear now. Every doubt is clear. Okay. Now, one more thing, notes. What to do? How to make notes? Don't make any notes. I am already writing all this for you. Please don't make new notes in blue, black, green, red. Grow up. You are not a class 5 student now. Okay? We are already writing everything. Okay? So, the point here is, take all this information. If you want, take a printout of it. And yes, if somebody wants, you can take the PPT printout and start writing along with me in the class to keep yourself alert. That's possible. Take running notes. But don't create separate unique notes from various sources. It is not required. Don't reinvent the wheel. You will simply be wasting time. Okay, these are notes for you. If somebody has a problem, then they can take a printout, or reading online, then they can take a printout and then study. But no, I would tell you, for polity, don't. Other subjects, those faculty will tell you what to do. Clear? Yes, running notes, again, these things can be done by you. Okay, let's see what issues, doubts do we have here. Shlok, the live class recordings will be available on the portal. You can see them for the next 7 days. No PPT annotations will continue to be there. Sandeep, then how will we revise? When a class happens in your school days, how do you revise? From notes. That's why I say, if you watch a class for revision, you're wasting 3.5 hours to revise. That revision can be done in around 30 minutes. Please understand this point. Time is crucial. Bhuvnesh, then write in no handwriting the same things, no problem. Kuhuk, we already have the monthly magazine. There's a team which makes these monthly magazines. Don't reinvent the wheel. It's okay. Political science is different from polity. Polity is a part of GS paper 2. Political science and IR is a separate optional subject. Anjali, yesterday you asked what book list I told you yesterday. What is this? I don't understand. Anjali, what's the question? For beginners, G Sony 5-6 pages also are sufficient. Sandeep, I am saying for polity, for polity, for the subject I am teaching, there is no special need to make notes. If this statement is not clear, I am not sure what statement will be clear. Yashwant, how do I create new NCRT for class 12 if it is not there? It is not there only for polity. If anybody wants to make their own notes, my advice would be take a printout of this PPT in the white background and write along with me in the class. That would be better. That would make the notes in your own handwriting also. Or better, write these PPTs only in your paper, the points, and then attend the class. That's also possible. Write down the PPT information in your notebook. That can also be done. Right? All these things can be done. Yes, Bhuvnesh, absolutely correct. For all those who are saying, should class 12th NCRT be studied or not? Did you even see what is the class 12th NCRT? Class 12th NCRT is not for polity. Why would I refer that? Understand it, please. Okay, I think the doubts have been. Pavitra, yes. In the weekend also, I am teaching polity. In this class also, I am teaching polity. The constitution is the same. UPSC syllabus is the same. How can I teach different things here? Same thing only. Break? Break every day will be at around 6:45. One break of 10-15 minutes. Are we clear? Now, see, some of you are saying that my question is not being addressed. If you ask me a question that is it necessary to make notes of DD Basu, then should I address that question? I've already told don't read these books. And then you're asking me, should I make notes from these books? Come on. I thought I am dealing with mature audience here. Or maybe I was mistaken. If this is also something that you cannot comprehend, I'm not really sure how to further simplify it. Now, I think we should simply skip on our irrelevant topics here and get down to understanding the basic information. I hope what I've explained is sufficient. No doubts. Uh, Ashay, what is your doubt? Let's see. Yes, Chandrasekhar, sufficient. Is Yojana and Kurukshetra available in app? No, Asha. Asha, Yojana Kurukshetra on the Baiju's website, or just go on the website. How difficult it is to go on the website and get this information. Google search Yojana Gist Baiju's. You'll get a link there. No problem. There is no need to prepare for prelims. We never prepare for prelims. We only prepare for main examination. That I'll discuss towards the end of the class. Why do we need to write newspaper content in exam? That's why is it important? Manam, why do we need to write newspaper content in the mains examination? That's why is it important? Maybe your question is that is newspaper reading important? We don't have to write the newspaper content. Reading editorials is important to improve answers. That's something I discuss when I discuss answer writing this Friday. Okay, great. Mayank Wadhwani was Gucci Mush. Sir, yes, it was in news, of course. Abhishek, read Yojana Kurukshetra from the to this month only. Okay. No, Pavitra, there is no need to read to make those notes again. Mayank Wadhwani, it is not required. Let us just firstly begin the class and see whether you need to know the basics or not. Okay. Now I think let's begin our discussion. Okay. Great. So, see, that's what I tell you. Despite telling you all these things, eventually it will all boil down to these things happening. Let's hope this does not happen and we focus on what is relevant. Don't worry if anybody's doubt has not been taken care of, it will be responded to in due time. A bit of patience is required. Please, I would request everybody to maintain decency in the comment section, right? You are a student, I'm a faculty. Remember the teacher student relationship, the respect, understand it, right? Don't act like a no customer. You are not a customer. You are a sincere aspirant and a student. Please be the student that you should be to clear the examination. That is the only advice I can give you to succeed in this examination. Don't behave like a customer, be the student that you should be. Okay, great. Now, let's begin some very basic generic information, right? Uh, I'll discuss some terms that most of you would be knowing, I'm sure, but some of us who have no idea would also be acquainted with these terms. So, firstly, these topics and terms, and then we'll discuss the topics at hand in the syllabus. First up, this rule book that we keep on calling Constitution of India. So, there is this book called the Constitution. Just like any other book, this book is also divided into various parts. Various parts. Like in your books, part 1, part 2, part 3. Part 1 contains something else, part 2 contains some other topic. This constitution is also divided into various parts. Part 1, part 2, part 3, etc. Originally, originally, this constitution was divided into 22 parts, 22 headings. But currently, it is divided into 25 parts. Okay. For example, look at this. This is a small snippet from the Constitution, a screenshot. So this is part 5. What is part 5? Union. Okay. So part 1 deals with the union and its territories. Part 2 deals with citizenship. Part 3 deals with rights. Part 4 deals with DPSP. Part 4A deals with duties. Part 5 deals with union. Now, under all these parts, just like our books, just like our books, we have chapters. Every part uh, may or may not be divided into chapters. So sometimes chapters may be there, some parts may not have chapters. For example, part 5 has some chapters, 5 chapters. Chapter 1 is about the executive, chapter 2 is about the legislature, chapter 3 is about ordinances, chapter 4 is about Supreme Court, chapter 5 is about CAG. Chapters are not important, right? Parts you should remember, but chapters not really. Now, in those chapters, the provisions that you see, right? Those provisions are actually called articles. The provisions of the Constitution. This is what is called an article. Numbers, right? So this is Article 52. This is Article 53. Some articles will be important. It would be an expectation that you should know those articles. Clear? Originally, this rule book used to have 395 articles. Now, this book has around 470 articles. Of course, you need not know all these articles. Don't worry at all. As and when the time comes, I will tell you which article is important, which article is not important. Clear? Now, like when you write your answers, you sometimes write subpoints in your answer. Point, subpoint, same thing. Every article, or some articles at least, also have subpoints, like here, subpoint 1, subpoint 2. These things are called clauses. So inside the article, you have a clause. Now, every clause is not important, and also every article may not have a clause. For example, Article 52. Article 52 says the President of India. There shall be a President of India. That's it. No clause, no subpoint, nothing. But Article 53 has two clauses. Article 53 clause 1, Article 53 clause 2. Clear? Clause 1, clause 2. So sometimes you may have clauses, you may not have clauses. And inside a clause, if you have sub point, that makes it a subclause, clauses and subclauses. And finally, towards the end of the Constitution, last few pages, you will find just like references, in your books and all, towards the end, they have this reference, right? Glossary of terms, all these things. So in the Constitution also, towards the end, you have all these references, these uh, postscript, footnotes kind of thing. They are called schedules. Originally, we had 8 schedules. Now we have 10 schedules. Again, as and when the time comes, we'll discuss each of these schedules and what do these schedules contain one by one. Now, one more thing. Oh, sorry, my bad. We have, uh, 12 schedules, not 10, 12 schedules. So, now, one more thing. This constitution also needs to be amended. It can be modified, it can be amended. So, how can the constitution be modified. So the procedure, etc., to be discussed later on. But since this book has been modified 105 times, amendments in the constitution need to be referred with a number. So how do you refer it? Amendment. We refer to the number of times and then write Amendment Act and then mention the year in which the amendment was made. For example, if I say this, this means what? 42nd Amendment Act 1976. The Constitution was amended for the 42nd time in the year 1976. Clear? This is how we have the representation of amendments. Clear? If I write like this, what is the meaning of this? Please say with me wherever you are. First Amendment Act 1951, meaning the Constitution was amended for the first time in 1951. Clear? Everybody? No doubts here? Okay. Now, this is the main rule book, the fundamental law of the land. Now, which article or which part has been amended? For that, we have to see what changes were made. This amendment will not just tell you which part. So, we have to see under this amendment which article, which part, etc. were modified. That you will get to know under this amendment. Clear? Now, this is the constitution, but there are so many laws in the country: IPC, CRPC, Citizenship Act, RPA, so many laws in the country. How are laws denoted? Statute or law? It's the same thing. Law or statute is a synonym. Clear? Synonym. Paryayavachi. Now, all articles required to learn. Achal, I have very clearly said, I think, that I will tell you which articles are important. So please don't worry, right? Just pay attention in the class. Which articles are important? I'll tell you. Don't worry. Okay? Now, statute or law. So just to tell some of you who may not know this, these laws are made by the legislature in the country, the people chosen by us, called MPs, MLAs, etc. Details later on. When they want to make a law, they initiate, they bring a proposal, an idea. We call that a bill. What is a bill? Bill is just a proposal. Clear? Now, all the people in the parliament, they will pass this bill. They'll approve it. Yes, yes, very good, nice. Yes, approved. So, they will pass the bill. Once the bill is passed, it becomes an act. Are we clear? Act. Now, act is not applicable on the people. Let me remind you. Act is not applicable on people. Firstly, this act that you have passed must be published somewhere for people to read. So this act is notified or published. Then this act becomes a law. Clear? Now, where is this act published? Just like Byju's has a monthly magazine, right? Hindu newspaper comes every day, etc. Frontline comes every 15 days, etc. Whatever. Similarly, the government's magazine, which is published every week, is called the Gazette of India. This is the magazine of the government. This is published weekly. Okay, every week the magazine is published, and these notifications are released in this gazette only, right? And for that we also have a website called egazette.gov.in. The domain name has been modified now. Now that is called egazette.gov.in. So online as well. E-Gazette. Clear? This is online facility is updated daily. Updated daily. So whenever any kind of change is made, any kind of change, that change has to be published in this magazine. This magazine is a government's magazine. It contains a lot of things. See, every day government activities are going on. Every day. So all that is published in the Gazette. Now, you may say, sir, what if nothing is done? Then it will not be published. Simple. If no task is done in that entire week, then nothing will be done. But that is impossible. How can no task be done in the country? So that is why it is very unlikely. But yes, if no task is done, no magazine. Please don't read this magazine. Are you clear? Somebody is saying, should we read the magazine also? Guys, this is not meant for you. Okay? If you go to e-Gazette, you will find out that most information is based on what? Most information that is there on e-Gazette is basically on things like, which tender, which contract was given to which person. That is what the most of these magazines are all about. The publications are all about. It is not about UPSC and all. Clear? Okay. Every week new act is published. No, how will a new act be published? If something happens, it will be published. If nothing happens, nothing is published. Clear? No doubt? Okay. Everybody? Great. These laws are different from the constitution. Constitution is the main law in the country. These are other laws. These laws are not mentioned in the constitution. Don't feel that if you make a law, we add that law in the constitution only. Are we clear? That is not added. Ordinances, they are also published here. Everything is published here. Okay. Now, next is types of bodies. What are the various types of bodies in the country? So we have primarily three types of bodies in the country. Number one, constitutional bodies. What are these bodies? Constitutional bodies are those bodies which are mentioned in the constitution. So these bodies are mentioned in the con. We will use in the class this as the symbol for constitution for the class only. Please don't think that we'll be using this in the examination. Just for the class to save our time. Are you clear? Mentioned in the constitution. So bodies like Election Commission of India, this is mentioned under. All these will have some kind of article. Article 324. UPSC, Article 315. Finance Commission, Article 280. NCSC, Article 338. NCST, Article 338, capital A. NCBC, 338, capital B. All these are constitutional body. Okay? Constitutional, because they are mentioned in the constitution. Then we have some statutory bodies. What is statutory? Legal bodies. Statutory means legal. So what are statutory bodies? Statutory bodies are bodies which are created by the what? Legislature. Legislature creates these bodies. A law is made, a proposal was brought, it was passed, it became an act, it was published, it became a law, statute, right? So, for example, Lokpal, this is a law made in the year 2013. CVC, the Central Vigilance Commission, a law made in the year 2005. CIC, that is a Central Information Commission, a law made in the year CVC made in the year 2003. CIC made in the year 2005, right? CIC is basically a body which is formed under a law called RTI Act, Right to Information Act. Then NHRC. What is this NHRC? National Human Rights Commission. This was formed in the year 1993. Then NCW, the National Commission for Women. Recently in news for all the wrong reasons. 1992. NCM, the National Commission for Women, Minorities. Women, Minorities. 1992. So you can see here that these are bodies which are not mentioned in the constitution. You cannot find Lokpal mentioned in the constitution. These are bodies created by legislature. I have given all these things, right, just for you to understand. No need to mug up all these things. It's okay. As and when the time comes, you'll automatically mug up all these things without any special effort needed. Okay. Uh, Sir, Lokayukt is also a statutory body because the law which was passed to form Lokpal, the full name of the law is called Lokpal and Lokayukt Act of 2013. So Lokayukt is also a statutory body. And finally, executive bodies. Who is this person? The Prime Minister. So executive bodies, government, government, executive. So executive bodies are bodies created by the government order. Created by government order. So no need to bring a law, bring a proposal, not required. The government sitting in its office can simply create a body. That body is called an executive body. So here, for example, you have Niti Aayog, a body formed in 2015, Niti Aayog. Ministries in our country, Home Ministry, Finance Ministry, all these are executive bodies. Tomorrow, if the government wants, it can very easily create a new ministry, temple ministry. It can be created. No need to bring any proposal in the parliament, not required at all, right? Then NDC, the National Development Council, a very old body in 1950, in 1952. Or CBI. What is CBI? Central Bureau of Investigation. Remember this body used by center to harass the state. Used by center to investigate against various people. CBI. So this is 1963. Are we clear on this? Everybody. Okay, very simple. Don't overcomplicate these things, right? Very simple, very basic. Don't worry, sir. What is 315? It's okay. We'll discuss when the time comes all these things. That's it. Constitutional, statutory, and executive. These are the bodies that we need to know. Now, solve a question which came in 2023, this year only. Let's see how many of you get this right. So I'll give you a minute or rather 45 seconds to mark the answer. Okay, a lot of you have marked the answer and the correct answer. So actually, we consider the following organizations or bodies in India. How many of the above are constitutional bodies? NCBC is actually a constitutional body. NHRC is a statutory body. Law Commission is an executive body. And the NCDRC, the National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission, it is also a statutory body formed under the Consumer Rights Act or Consumer Protection Act 1986. All these three are statutory or executive bodies. Only one of them is a constitutional body. Clear? So only one. At least this is something you must have known. We have mentioned here only in the previous slide. NHRC. Can you see this? Human Rights Commission is a statutory body, right? Commission for back NHRC is not a constitutional body. Don't worry, it's okay, right? Next, we have three organs of the state. So, state has three organs. Number one is the legislature. So, what is the task of legislature? If I ask you, legislature, what does it do? Legislature's task is to make laws. Laws are made by the legislature. That's their task. Clear? Very simple. Laws are made by legislature. But our MPs, our politicians are very innocent people. They make laws, but they can't understand those laws. So, to help us understand those laws, we have judiciary. The task of judiciary, this is the Supreme Court. The task of judiciary is to do what? Interpret the laws. Make us understand the laws. Okay? What do these laws mean exactly? What is the real meaning of the laws made by our innocent MPs? That's the task of the judiciary. Are we clear, everybody? So, judiciary's task is to what? Interpret the laws. Okay, just solve a quick question asked in 2015. Let's see how many of you get this right. Easy question, 30 seconds only. I think this should be sufficient. Great. A lot of you mark this correct. Absolutely correct. The right answer is D, Supreme Court of India. Who or which of the following is the custodian, caretaker, custodian plus guardian, the caretaker, the protector of the Constitution? It is the Supreme Court of India. Also, the final interpreter of the Constitution. Okay, so this is with respect to the second organ, judiciary. What's the third organ? Third organ is the executive. Now, what's the task of executive? Now, you would say that, sir, executive's task is very simple. The task of executive is to implement the laws. Yes, of course, but not that simple. Executive refers to government. Okay, government. Now, please tell me, in our country, in our country, who is determining the policies? The government only. Determining policies. Government, executive. Who is executing? Or, in your words, who is implementing the policies? Executive only. Who is initiating proposals in the house? Executive only. Who takes care of the maintenance of law and order? Maintaining law and order? Executive only. Who is promoting economic and social welfare? Promoting economic and social welfare? Executive only. Who is deciding, directing foreign policy? Directing foreign policy? Executive only. All these tasks are being performed by the executive, right? So from now onwards, don't say that executive's task is just to implement laws. No, the government is the most powerful organ in the country and has been given the task to practically perform every function in the country. In fact, Supreme Court says, Supreme Court has said in one case that residual of functions or governmental functions, we can write residual of functions that remain in the country, right, after legislative and judicial functions are taken away. They are all called what? Executive functions. Clear? So what the Supreme Court said was, you please take away legislative functions, you please take away judicial functions, take away these two functions of making laws and interpreting laws. Everything that remains in the country is all government's function only, right? This is what Supreme Court said. in the Ram Javaya Kapoor case. Supreme Court in Ram Javaya Kapoor case of 1955. Clear? Okay, so that is with respect to the three organs. Let's do one thing now. Let's take a break. After the break, we'll come back and just like we have discussed the separation of powers, three organs, we'll now discuss the division of power between the center and the states. Let's take a break. Be back at 7:05. Break, please. Okay, let's continue now. I hope you are done with the break. All back. Okay, so now we'll be discussing about the division of power. So far, the separation of power, now division of power. So, if I ask you a simple question here, what do you think, or who do you think is the authority to decide foreign policies? Does Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, UP, Maharashtra, do all these states have their own foreign policy? Or do we have one common foreign policy? Common, right? Which is decided by the center. Who controls the armed forces? Center or states? Tell me. Center. So, can you just now observe here that there are some things, some topics on which center has whole and sole power, complete authority. States have not been given any say. Currency, for example. Then there are some topics where both center and states can make laws. Technical education, IPC, CRPC, right? Personal laws, all such things. Then sometimes there are some topics which are difficult for the center to manage, like police, public order. Those topics are given to the states. Now, here it's very easy to understand for us generally that okay, armed forces is for the center and public order and police is for the states. But what if some state starts fighting, saying where is it mentioned? How can you say that we cannot control armed forces? We also can control armed forces. So, to ensure that there is no problem, right? There is very clear cut demarcation, clear cut division of power between the center and the states from the word space, from the word domain, area, spatial distribution. Some area meant for center, some area meant for states, some area meant for both. So, Article 246 says that there are some topics on which center has exclusive power. Exclusive, meaning no other authority, states have no power over these topics. These topics are referred to as union list. But where do I find these topics? Topics like foreign policy, topics like armed forces, right? Topics like currency. Where do I find these topics? So, for that, Article 246 says if you want to know those topics where they are mentioned, please refer to Schedule 7, schedule, seventh schedule of the Indian Constitution. So, at the back, Schedule 1, Schedule 2, 3, 4, 7. Schedule number 7, list number 7 has all these topics. So, Schedule 7 contains lists. Three lists are there. One is the, of course, union list. This union list contains not one, two, three, four items. It contains 98 topics. You don't have to mug up these topics. Don't worry. It contains 98 topics, or we call them entries, on which only center can make laws. Clear? Then we have a concurrent list. Look at this concurrent list. This is the list. This is the list over which both center and states can make laws. Things like education, forests, population control, family planning, all these areas. But now, if there is any list where both center and states can make laws, what if there is a conflict? What if center tries to make a different law and states try to make a different law? So, in case there is any conflict, central law is what prevails. Parliament, center has overriding power. Are we clear? That list is called concurrent list. This list has 52 such topics or 52 entries. And in case there is any conflict between a central and a state law on a concurrent list subject, then the central law prevails. Clear? And then there is also a list called state list. Normally, uh, under normal circumstances, the state has the power to make laws on state list subjects. Normally. So this is the state list, which comprises of 59 entries or topics. Are we clear, everybody? Overriding powers means in case of conflict, central law prevails. Now is it clear? In case both center and states make a law on a topic like education, and central law is different, state law is different, then central law is held to be valid, state law is cancelled. Are we clear now? Chavan? Everything now? Okay. Now what is the problem? Sir, suppose if any concurrent list topic decided by center is inappropriate, the Supreme Court can always interfere. That's there. Okay. Haji Rifa, what is the problem? Don't make these blanket statements. Give me an exact problem. Exact problem. What is the problem? See, I repeat once again for all of you to understand. There are some topics. I hope you understand this point that there are a lot of topics in our country on which laws can be made, right? Topics like family planning, forests, education, etc. Right? Armed forces. On some topics, center can make laws. If you want to know the topics, please go to 7th schedule. You will find all those topics. That is called union list. On some topics, states can make laws. Normally, you want to know those topics, please go to schedule 7. It has a list called list 2, all topics mentioned there. If you want to know, now there are some topics where both center and states can make laws, both of them. But what if there is a conflict? Imagine in your family, if a situation comes that your father wants to purchase a sofa, you also want to purchase a sofa, but your father's design selection is different from your design selection. This means both of you are purchasing the same thing, but the design selection is different. Then whose design or whose final choice will prevail? Please let me know. Father, of course, right? If you act over smart, one tight slap and then you will fall on the ground immediately. So father's choice. So in this same case, right, if the center tries to make laws on a topic and the states try to make law on a topic which is in the concurrent list and a conflict is there, then whose law prevails? central law prevails. Are you clear now? Everybody? Great. Okay. This is what is the three lists. Now, one more thing. See, these lists were made in 1950, but over a period of time, so many new topics have come up. Now, our makers of this constitution did not think of cryptocurrency, artificial intelligence, all such things. They had no idea. What if there is any topic that is not mentioned in any list? It's possible, right? So, Article 248. This article says that if by chance there is any topic over which, or the topic which is not mentioned in any list, on that topic, center can only make laws. States cannot make laws. If a topic is not mentioned in any list, then what happens? Only center can make laws. Those topics are known as residuary topics, and this power is called the residuary power. Article 248. Clear on this? Everybody okay? Great. Now, one more thing. Since we are discussing these basic things, let me just also introduce to you some basic terms. Executive. So, I've been saying this again and again that executive means government, but executive can be of two kinds. Just to clarify, one is known as political executive. Okay, political executive meaning the five categories. At the top, we have the president. Below the president, we have the vice president. Below the VP, we have the PM, Prime Minister. And to support the Prime Minister, we have Council of Ministers. And along with the Council of Ministers, we also have one more person. That person, some of you may not have heard of his name, is called Attorney General of India. Attorney General. This person is government's lawyer. These five people together form what we know as the Union Executive. Are we clear? Executive at the central level. At the state level, the senior most person is what? Is the governor. Below the governor, we have vice governor. Yes or no? Vice governor. Some of you are saying yes. There is no vice governor. Below the governor, we have CM, the chief minister. Then we have COM, council of ministers. And then, just like the attorney general at the central level, at the state level, we have advocate general. These are part of the state executive. Clear? Now, who are these people? How are they chosen? How are they removed? What are their functions? We'll discuss as and when the time comes. Okay? Are we clear on this? So, there is no need to discuss all these things right now. Clear? Now, the second type of executive are people like you. The permanent executive. Permanent executive. These people are the civil servants. So, if you study well, then you'll be a part of the permanent executive. Clear? So, all the group A, B, C, D officers and officials, permanent executive. Clear? Basic information. So, this is with respect to executive. Now, legislatures. So, legislature, the law making body at the central level, at the state level. So, at the central level, the legislature is what? The legislature comprises of two houses. So, you must have heard of this. One such house is known as House of People. You also refer to this house as the Lok Sabha. Second house is the Council of States, which is also referred to as the Rajya Sabha. In both these houses, we have members, people, politicians who are known as MPs. Who are MPs? Members of Parliament. Okay? Politicians. Now, as far as the states are concerned, in the states, in all the states, we have a house called Legislative Assembly. Legislative Assembly, also called the Vidhan Sabha. And then we have in some states, not all, only in 6 states, we have a house called Legislative Council, Vidhan Parishad. Okay. Now, which 6 states have these councils? Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Telangana, and UP. These are the 6 states which have councils. Now, you may say, sir, why only these 6 states? Reasons later on. Just brief introduction on these topics. Clear? Now, people who are sitting in these houses, people sitting in this house, they are called MLA, members of Legislative Assembly. People sitting in this house, MLCs, members of Legislative Council. Are you clear? Everybody? Legislatures. Now, just to help you understand the point of difference, so that you have no confusion. MLA and MP. What's the difference? See, this is a state of Karnataka. For those who have no idea of the country, this is the state of Karnataka. The entire state of Karnataka is divided into small parts. Can you see the division? So this is one part. This one small part is called constituency. Constituency. Okay. All the people of this area, all the people of this area, all the people of this area, they will vote, right? And choose. People vote to choose MP in the Lok Sabha. Clear? MP. MP. The same state is divided into even smaller constituencies. Look at this. This was one Lok Sabha constituency. This is one Vidhan Sabha constituency. Into smaller constituencies, and all the people of this area will vote and choose one MLA. So MLAs are in states, come from smaller area. MPs are at center, come from bigger area. Okay, and this bifurcation varies from state to state based on population, because in our country population varies from state to state, density of population varies from state to state. As of now, just this basic information is sufficient. We'll discuss all these in detail again in future. Are you clear? If it is not understood, it's okay. The idea is that we'll discuss all these things later on in detail. Clear? Don't worry. The entire state of Karnataka is divided into small parts. Those parts are called constituencies. People from this area vote and choose people who are called MP, one person. The same state is divided into smaller constituencies, which from where people vote and choose MLA. Now, what about MP of Rajya Sabha and MLCs? That is of no importance right now. Ignore it. Later on. Later on. Okay? Please. Don't panic at all. It is just very basic, brief difference between MP and MLA. MP at the central level, MLA at the state level. Are we clear? Everybody? We are just discussing the most basic things, just names, right? Again, I can see somebody saying, what is legislative council? As I said, ignore it for now. Have the patience. Ignore it. We'll discuss this later on. The purpose of the slide was to differentiate between MP and MLA. Okay, that's it. Now, at the top, we have the central government, below it, state government, and even below it, what we refer to is the local self government. So, we call this the local self government. In the urban areas, so I believe a lot of you live in urban areas. In the urban areas, that local self government structure is called municipality. And in the rural area, so some of you might be living in rural areas also. So in the rural areas, that administrative structure is called what? Panchayats. Clear? A for urban, B for rural. Tell me how many of you live in urban areas and rural areas? A for urban area and B for rural area. Okay, not bad. A lot of you are from the rural background as well. Okay, great. Now, finally, we saw the executive, we saw the legislature. Now, the Mahamahim, the judiciary. Judiciary, three levels. At the bottom, we have the subordinate court. Subordinate courts are also called trial courts. What are they called? Trial courts. If at any point of time I mention trial courts, don't be confused. I am referring to subordinate courts only. Right? Clear? In the subordinate courts, we have 25,129 judges in total. Now, high courts. So, we have one high court for every state. In total, we have how many high courts? 25 high courts. Sometimes some states share a high court, right? For example, Punjab and Haryana. For example, Goa and Maharashtra. So we have 25 high courts, and these high courts in total have 1114 judges. Clear? And then we have the Supreme Court. How many Supreme Courts? Only one Supreme Court in Delhi. With how many judges? 34 judges. Supreme Court will also be called the apex court. Apex means the top. So may also be referred to as the apex court. Okay? Don't be confused. What is this apex court? So subordinate courts, sessions court, district court, municipal court, civil court, right? Judicial magistrate court, all these courts are a part of subordinate courts only. Clear? That's it. Don't worry. You'll be able to remember all these things because it's the first class. You hardly know stuff. So this may be a lot of facts for you. Not required. When you see the same thing again and again, you will know all these things. That's it. So this brings us to an end of our discussion on the basic concepts. That is where we end our discussion on the very basic things. So right now, what we have discussed, what are the important articles? So this is what we'll do after every module when we discuss it. I'll just summarize and write for you the important articles. Two articles, 246 and 248. We also discussed one schedule. Which schedule? Schedule 7. And one important case that we saw, which was the Ram Javaya Kapoor case of 1955. Okay. So this is how we refer to the cases also in Supreme Court. The case name and the year in which the judgment was delivered. Clear? Now we'll move on to the next topic and the first topic. So our discussion is going to be slightly different. Normally, you will find in Lakshmikant also, they start with Article 1, 2, 3, 4, then citizenship and all. But it creates a lot of complication because when you start discussing Articles 1, 2, 3 and all without having any knowledge of what is the parliament, what is the president's power, what is the prime minister's power, who is taking all these decisions, types of majorities, it creates a confusion, right? Then if you discuss fundamental rights without knowing the powers of judiciary, again it creates a problem. So rather than going that way, it would be more appropriate to firstly discuss the executive, legislature, and judiciary. Once you know all these three things, then we can discuss the smaller points like elections in the country, Article 370, union territories, Schedule 5 areas, Schedule 6 areas, emergency provisions, right? And then center state relations. Once we are done with this, then we can discuss fundamental rights, DPSPs, fundamental duties. And lastly, when we are done with everything, then we can discuss what is the preamble. Because even the makers of our constitution approved the preamble in the very end. So we'll simply follow the makers of our constitution. This is by far the easiest way to understand politics, step by step. In this way, you will have to assume lesser things, right? So this is going to be our format. Don't worry, it's a tried and tested format, the easiest possible way to understand comprehensively everything, right? So we'll be discussing the very first topic, executive, which is part 5, articles 52 to 78. Don't panic at all on which articles, so many articles. I am telling this again and again that I will tell you which article is important. Okay? And since this is the first class, you may feel, oh, so many numbers are there. Don't worry. This journey is a very long one. You will have at least at least 500-600 days, right? For a lot of you here, more than that. So the only thing is keep on revising, you will mug up everything. Okay? Don't fall prey to mnemonics or some shortcut technique to learn. We are not kids now. We have matured. So rather than that, focus on comprehensive understanding of things. Okay? First up is the executive, part 5, articles 52 to 78. Before we discuss executive at the central level, one small topic to be discussed. This is something we should know in our country, order of precedence, right? Order of precedence. Think of this. You go to a family function, your grandfather, you, and your father. All three people are there in the function. There is only one chair. Who will sit on the chair? President will sit on the chair? Grandfather will sit on the chair. Okay? Of course, grandfather will sit on the chair. Why? Maybe your grandfather is not taking a decision in the house. Maybe your father is running the house. But still, it does not really matter who controls power. There is a decorum, a respect, right? Seniority. The same thing happens in the government also, right? The government also has a ceremonial protocol list. This is nothing but a list of or a hierarchy of all the important dignitaries, functionaries in the country. So this list basically is a hierarchy of important dignitaries, right? Functionaries. So, which is used for ceremonies. It's a protocol, an order, a system. These are English words, not political science words, English words. Protocol, a system in place for ceremonies, important functions, right? So, if you ever get selected in Labasna and the training, don't say what is Labasna now, forget Labasna. If you ever get selected in a training institute for UPSC, you go to the UPSC training institute, you sit there and you have to give a speech now. The president is sitting there in front of you, the PM is sitting there, all your friends are there. You won't start by saying, hello, friends, hi, president, hello, PM. No, there is an order. You refer to the president first, then to other people. That's called the ceremonial protocol list. I gave the example of the grandfather. That is what you are following in life also. Protocol is followed, system is followed, right? So this list hierarchy is maintained by the Home Ministry. Home Ministry maintains this hierarchy. So this is the order of precedence. At the top, we have, of course, the President of India. right? Then we have number 2, Vice President of India. Then we have the Prime Minister of India. Number 3. Then governors. These are all governors in their state. Okay, Kalraj Mishra, Governor of Rajasthan. Arif Muhammad Khan, Governor of Kerala. And R.N. Ravi, Governor of Tamil Nadu. In their state, they are 4th in rank. Then we have former presidents, people who used to be presidents, right? Former presidents. For example, the photograph, of course, is of the 11th President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Then, Deputy Prime Ministers. Sometimes we also have this kind of post. If there is any Deputy PM, that person is next in rank. Then 2 people share the same rank. This person is the CJI, Chief Justice of India, and this person is the Speaker of Lok Sabha. Who are these people? What is their role? Later on. Same rank. Anyway. So Deputy PM may not always be there. Right now, we don't have any Deputy PM. But sometimes in certain governments, there are 2 people who are very, very important. Both are fighting. I want to be the PM. I want to be the PM. So one person becomes PM, the other one becomes Deputy PM. Simple. So this is the list. At least the first 14. You can observe here. President, VP, PM, governors, all these. Look at this. Cabinet Secretary. Who is this person? Cabinet Secretary. The senior most IAS officer in the country is the Cabinet Secretary. Okay? The senior most IAS. Clear? So it should be every civil servant's, or at least every aspirant's dream to become an IAS officer. And then if you're an IAS, your dream should be to become a Cabinet Secretary. If you don't have this dream, please have this dream. If you want to be an IAS. For IPS, IFS, have your own separate dreams. Okay. So this is a list. Normally, we had questions from this 20 years back. For 4 years continuously, UPSC asked a question in prelims from these topics, then suddenly stopped. So nowadays, they don't ask question from this topic, but if they do, we should at least have some basic information, right? Okay. Solve this question. Asked in the year 2003. Let's see how many of you can get it right. Easy question. 30 seconds are sufficient. Okay, so if you look at the figure here, see, governors rank 4, former presidents 5, deputy PM 6, CGI speaker 7. So, speaker 7, deputy PM 6, former presidents 5, governors 4. Highest rank C, governor of the state within his state. Anyway, basic information. Now let's move on and understand the Union Executive, Part 5, Articles 52 to 78. We have the Union Executive comprising of the President, Vice President, Prime Minister, entire Council of Ministers, all the ministers, right? And Attorney General of India. Clear? That's it. Now, first up is the President of India. Article 52 says there shall be a President of India. Now, let me also tell you, in our country, the President of India is known as the head of the state. Here, state refers to the entire country, not your state of UP, Rajasthan, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, entire country. Head of the state is the president. Now, the president is also called or referred to as a nominal head. See, this word nominal means this person does not really have powers, no real power, nominal head. So, why am I saying that the president has no real powers? We'll discuss that tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll reveal the surprise that why does the president have no real powers? Nominal head, or also called the figurehead, also called the de jure head. De jure head. De jure means by law, right? So legally, who is the head? Lawfully, the president is the head of the country. Some people also call this person as a rubber stamp, just a figure who is the senior most. No real power. All these things, nominal, figurehead, etc., showcase only one thing, that this person does not really have powers to enjoy. Why am I saying this? We'll discuss tomorrow. Okay. Now, if you have the president, there has to be some election. So, in our country, India is a republic. Okay. Republic. What are we? We are a republic. What's the meaning of republic? Always remember, republic means a country where the head of state is elected. Head of state is elected. That country is called a republic. The other option would be what? Monarchy, like say UK. In UK, the head of state, the crown, he or she is not elected. It's a hereditary post. Mother was the head, now son is the head, then their son or daughter is the head. It's a hereditary post. Monarchy. India is a republic. This means our head of state, the president, is elected. Now, elections of the president are conducted by Election Commission of India, ECI. ECI, for those who have no idea, stands for Election Commission of India. This is the body which conducts the elections for the Indian president. Now, one more thing. There are various articles in the Indian Constitution which tell us what will be the manner of conducting elections of the Indian president. Don't worry, we'll discuss all these things one by one. There is also a law in the country which deals with the conduct of elections. The law is called the Presidential and the Vice Presidential Elections Act of 1952. And we also have rules for the effective conduct of elections of 1974. Now, one question can come in your mind. What is act? What is rule? What's the difference? Act and rule. So, act is a law, right? What are rules? Now, think of this. Very simple example. Before I give you a definition of sorts. There is a law in the country called Motor Vehicles Act 1988. This law has a section 127 which says that if you want to take out two-wheeler, right? Bike, scooty, whatever, a two-wheeler vehicle on the road, you must wear a safety headgear, a protective headgear. That's what is mentioned in the law, right? Now you take out your bike and you wear a birthday cap on your head and say that this is my safety headgear. The police stops you saying, where are you going with this birthday cap? You say, what is mentioned? Show me the law. Law says safety headgear. You say, this is my magical safety headgear. Please don't disturb me. Now, of course, these kind of things cannot be mentioned in the law. The law cannot go into details. Law is made a skeletal structure, like a skeleton. Rules are required to be made by the government. Laws are made by parliament, legislature. Rules are made by government, executive, to ensure that the laws are implemented properly. Rules provide the flesh and blood to the skeletal structure of law. The parliament cannot go into details of what should be the material of your helmet. Parliament has made a law. Helmet is required. Now, when the authority is implementing the law, they'll make rules. Helmet should not be of paper. Helmet should be of, say, carbon fiber, nanofiber, steel, iron, whatever. Should be of this color, that color. Those are called rules. Clear now? Rules are made by the executive. Always remember this. Clear? Everyone? Basic information. Now, coming to the elections. Election of the president. So, here, how many of you have voted in the election of the president? Please say yes. Let's take a poll. 10 seconds. A for yes, B for no. How many of you have voted for election of the president? Let's see. 57 people have voted for the election of president. Amazing. We really want to know who these 57 people are. It is possible actually, but it will only be possible if you are an MP or an MLA. Are we clear? So, all those who said yes, please understand that to vote in the election of president, you have to be either an MP or an MLA. And I am sure that nobody here is either an MP or an MLA. If you are MP or MLA, why would you be sitting in the class? So, electors. What is the meaning of elector? Elector means voter. Voter. So normally kids use the word voter. Since you are legends, you will use the word elector from now onwards. Okay? Use the word elector, not voter. Confuse everybody. Anyway, so electors, as per Article 54, who are the electors? The electoral college, the group of voters. The group of voters, electoral college, will comprise of all elected MPs from the Lok Sabha, from the Rajya Sabha. Clear? All elected MLAs of the states. Now here, the article says that state includes the UTs of Pondicherry and Delhi. UT of Jammu and Kashmir is not included here. Are we clear? In future, when JNK will have its assembly, then we can include JNK. But as of now, the MLAs of UT of Delhi as well as Pondicherry are included. Clear? So MPs, as we saw, are there in Lok Sabha also. MPs are in Rajya Sabha also. they will vote, and MLAs will also vote. The condition is you have to be an elected MP, you have to be an elected MLA. For example, this person is an MP in the Rajya Sabha, this person is an MLA from Pulivendula constituency, Andhra Pradesh. This person is an MP in the Lok Sabha. This person is an MP in the Lok Sabha. This person is an MLA from New Delhi, right? UT refers to Union Territory. Okay. These are things we have seen in our school also. Firstly, I need to know who are those people who are in school. Others should not ask such questions. What is UT? Okay. So as of now, these are the people who can vote. Now the question is, who cannot vote? So all the legislators, right, who cannot vote, either you are an MLC, right? Remember, some states have MLCs, Vidhan Parishad. So for example, this person, MLC, he is an MLC in Bihar, Nitish Kumar. He cannot vote. Only MLAs can vote. And there are some people in the Rajya Sabha who are nominated, who are chosen by the government to be members. These are 12 MPs in the Rajya Sabha. For example, this person, he is a former Chief Justice of India, Justice Ranjan Gogoi, 46th Chief Justice. And of course, you know her, right? The Asian Games gold medalist. She is PT Usha, right? Okay. So these people cannot vote. Only elected MPs and elected MLAs can vote, and the states will include the UTs of Delhi and Pondicherry. Done? Article 54. Clear? So why cannot MLCs vote? Because MLCs are not there in all the states, so it will give those states an unfair advantage. They can't vote. These people who are nominated by the president only. So their voting will be biased. Hence, they can't vote. Clear? Now, how is the president elected? The election is indirect. The election is indirect. Why? Election would have been direct if we were allowed to vote. Direct voting. But since we cannot vote, then elections are indirect. And we follow a system of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote. Yes, yes, yes. Don't panic. Please calm down. We will discuss both these terms. If not today, then tomorrow. Right? Not right now. Please. And the voting is done by a secret ballot. So nobody sees your vote. Secretly you vote. Clear? And voting takes place in New Delhi. Oh, sorry, counting takes place in New Delhi. Now, here in the case of elections, so one simple question. I'm sure a lot of you have voted in the elections. So, in the elections, there's a machine called EVM to vote. In the case of election for the president, we don't use EVMs. No EVMs are used. Okay? No EVMs. Second thing, uh, apart from no EVMs, there's also this concept of proxy. What is proxy? So in your college, remember proxy? You don't go and your friend marks attendance for you. So if any MP or MLA is not feeling well today, headache, voting is there, somebody else go and vote on my behalf. That's not allowed. No proxy. If you're not feeling well, don't come to vote. No problem. Your vote is cancelled. Clear? Number three, very important. Now, as of now, you don't know this. Just write this point. I'll explain what is whip later on, but just very briefly. You know, uh, every party tries to give instruction to its party members how to vote in the parliament. The BJP can tell all the BJP MPs, come on, my bill is there, vote for yes. Congress can tell all its members, come on, vote for no. That's called whip. Okay, whip, instruction of party. But in the case of president, people are free to vote for any person they want. We call this a conscience vote. So if you belong to BJP and Narendra Modi is asking you, please vote for my favorite person, you can say, sorry, I'll vote based on my choice. There is no need to follow anybody. You have full conscience, free to vote for anybody you want to vote, whoever is contesting elections. This is what is whip. Are we clear on this? We'll discuss whip again in detail when we study the chapter Parliament. Clear? Now, what is EVM? The voting machine that you have, the electronic voting machine is called EVM. So, if you go for voting in your life in future, then you will get to see what is EVM. Here, there is no EVM. Why no EVM? Because, very simple, no EVM because the voting pattern is very different here. We'll see how. That's why you'll understand why we can't use EVM. And one more thing. So, those who have ever gone to vote, you would get to know that you can press a button on the EVM, the cross symbol. What is that? Nota, right? Nota. What is nota? None of the above. Nota. This is what is nota. So, when it comes to nota, there is no concept of nota in the election of the president. I'm sorry, you cannot press the nota button here. Okay? Extremely sorry. You have to choose somebody. No nota. Clear? Guys, please ignore this concept of whip for now. I mentioned this here that in future, if you revise it, you'll get to know. Ignore it if you don't understand what is whip. No problem whatsoever. Okay? Don't worry. What is proxy? Now, some innocent person says, what is proxy? So, back in your school days, as I explained, and please focus on the class. No watching of YouTube on one side, watching TV, chatting on the phone. Don't do all this nonsense. Okay? Because when you ask a question, I get to know what you have not heard. Okay? So, no proxy. I'll explain again. Normally, what happens is in general elections, if you are from the armed forces, you are serving on the border, you cannot come back and vote, right? Leave the country uh, at the hands of Pakistan and then come and vote. Of course not. You have the option to assign your chance to vote to somebody in your family, friends, your spouse. So your spouse can go and vote on your behalf. That's called proxy voting. You vote on somebody else's behalf. In the case of president, there is no concept of proxy. The MP, MLA has to be present themselves personally to cast a vote. That's it. Now, manner of election, concept of vote value. So, what is this vote value now? Manner of election is mentioned under Article 55. So, the idea being that one simple question, if you are referring to general elections, elections to the Lok Sabha, for example, where you are voting, do we have this concept? One person, one vote. Yes or no? Tell me. In the Lok Sabha elections, don't we have this concept? Whether you are Ambani or Adani or Tata or Birla or a common person, does not matter. Because I am only representing my view in the house. Yeah, right? I go to the house, I am representing only my view on the ballot. So if I go to the booth to press a button, that button I press represents my view only. One person, one vote. Even if you try to press the button multiple times, nothing will happen. If you press the button multiple times, what is going to happen is that the person there will look at you and report against you and you'll get punished. Right? So don't do all this. One person, one vote. However, you love the party, the leader, don't press the button multiple times. Clear? That amounts to tampering with the voting equipment. Your voting right can be taken away. Anyway, now think of this. In the elections of the president, who are the voters? Tell me. The voter. Here the voter is MP and MLA. Yes or no? Elected MPs, elected MLAs. MP and MLA. Now tell me something. Do these MPs and MLAs, should they have same vote value? Who is more important? What do you think? MP or MLA? Tell me. Who do you think is more important? Let's see through a diagram only. We were discussing about this only earlier. Let's look at this. Just to follow it here, please. Let us say this is one constituency. All the people of this area have chosen one MP. Now look at this. People of this area are choosing one MLA. Tell me, now can you see MP? In fact, the area from where one MP comes, we have so many constituencies. So many. Yes or no? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this case. In this case, 6. It can be less or more than 6 also. So who is representing more people? It is always the MP who represents more people. Are we clear on this now? Now please tell me, if the MP represents more people, then do you think it is okay for MP to have the same vote value as MLA? If the MP presses the button or casts his vote, right, then the candidate should receive more points. The idea is that if the MP is supporting you, this means that more people are supporting you compared to MLA. Yes or no? Do we at least agree on this basic concept that an MP is more important than MLA? Or somebody has doubt in this also, that no, 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 anything can happen. Great. So all of you agree on this. So if you agree on this, then how can we give them same vote value? It is wrong. That is why vote value, the value of vote of MP must be more than the value of vote of MLA. It should be greater. But the problem is, yes, it should be greater. But how to calculate it? How to find out What shall be the value of MP and MLA's vote? If I am an MP and I am casting my vote, how many points should go in the person's account? If I am an MLA and I am casting my vote, how many points should go in somebody's account? How to calculate this? That's a concern. So for that, there is a formula given by N.G. Iyengar. Okay, this is a formula that is there to calculate the vote value of MP and MLA. Very simple, very easy formula. Look at this formula now. Value of vote of one MLA. How do you calculate it? You take the population of the entire state. Total population of the state. And then what you do is you divide this population with the number of elective seats, meaning number of elected MLAs in the state. Are we clear? But look at this. If you take the total population of the state and divide by number of MLAs, population is in lakhs and crores. This number is huge. So we try to make this smaller so that it's easy to calculate and manage. That is why we multiply this number with 1 by 1000. Basically, we divide this by 1000. So this makes the number smaller, easier to manage. Clear? Now, one more small point. The question is, we are saying population, fair enough, but the population, this population of the state when? Today, yesterday, day before yesterday, when? Total population of the state, including all the kids, all old people, young people, right? Which population? Now you will say, sir, let's do one thing. Let's take the latest population, 2011 population or today's population. But we don't use this population. What population do we use? This population is 1971 census population. Are we clear? Now you will say, what is this? Why 1971? Of course. Before you ask him, I am telling you, please ask why. Okay. Now, for that, I'll have to take you to actual calculation. For example, look at this, how we calculate this. Don't worry. Somebody says this is crazy, this is wrong. It is not wrong. And I'll tell you why it is not wrong. Okay. Let's take the example of Telangana. In Telangana, there are 119 MLAs. The population of Telangana in 1971 census was 1.57 crore. So you will say there's no Telangana only 1971. So basically all the 10 districts of Andhra Pradesh which became Telangana, what was their population in 1971? It is 1.57 crores. We divide this population by number of MLAs into 1 by 1000. We get 132. What is 132? 132 is the value of vote of one MLA of Telangana. Yes or no? Are you clear so far, everybody? Simple formula. You have to place that in this formula. Now, look at this list. This is actually the list, the entire list. Say Andhra Pradesh. What is the population of Andhra Pradesh in 1971? 2 crore 78 lakh people. Divide by number of seats, 175. 159 is the answer. Meaning, MLA of Andhra Pradesh has a vote value of 159. Okay. Now let's come to a state like Goa. What is the population of Goa? 7,95,120. Divide by number of MLAs, 40, 20. Can you observe the difference here? Look at the difference here. The vote value of any MLA of a state depends on population. Yes or no? Of course, the population. Look at this is maths, which we have studied till class 10th. Numerator, denominator, right? If the numerator is very high, of course, the value will become very large. If not this, look at this now. Let's take the example of UP. Look at Uttar Pradesh. The population is 8.38 crores. Divide by number of MLAs, 403. It comes to 208, meaning the UP MLA's vote value is 208. At the same time, look at a state like, say, Sikkim. Population of Sikkim is 2 lakhs. Divide by number of MLAs, 32, 7. So MLAs of Sikkim have a vote value of 7. In fact, total number of MLAs of Sikkim, all their vote value is almost equal to the vote value of one MLA of UP. Are you clear? See the vast difference. Now, think for one moment. Any state's MLA's vote value will keep on increasing, making the MLA more and more important. Follow this point. Any state's MLA, his or her vote value keeps on increasing if the state's population keeps on increasing. And if your vote value keeps on increasing, you become more important in the house, more important in the voting. Now, in the 1960s, 1970s, southern states, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, etc., they started taking steps on how to keep a check on population because they realized that this only causes resource crunch. Limited resources, too many people will be a problem. So they started telling their people, don't have so many kids, spreading awareness programs. But in the northern states, there was no such step taken by the states. No such step was taken at all. Right? And the people there kept on having more kids, more and more kids, kept on having kids. They thought more kids means more hands to work, more hands to work. They did not realize more kids means more mouths to feed also. Now, if you take the latest population, this would put the southern states at a disadvantage. Yes or no? If you take the latest population, will it not place the southern states at disadvantage? And for what? A southern state took proactive steps to control population and now you are punishing the state. And some state in the northern part which took no steps said, come on, people, have more kids. You are saying very good, thumbs up, great, amazing performance. Right? So why should a state be punished for its proactive measures of family planning? That is why the Indira Gandhi government said, we are going to fix this 1971 census. We will use this census only for the next 25 years. Fixed for next 25 years. That means till 2001. Why? Because it was done via 42nd Amendment Act in the year 1976. So in 1976, this formula was fixed that we will use 1971 census only for the next 25 years. Northern states, Better tell your people to not have so many kids. In comes 2001. In 2001, we still found that northern states population is rising only. 3, 4, 5 kids. They are not telling their people, please control your emotions. Again, the same problem. So, again, the constitution was again modified and it was fixed for another 25 years till 2026. And this was done via the 84th Amendment Act 2001, meaning amending the constitution for the 84th time. So till 2026, we will use the 1971 census formula only or population only to calculate this. Are we clear now? So, of course, I hope now you understand that why 1971 census is used. It is used because we wanted to not punish the states which were promoting family planning, but actually reward them with ensuring that don't worry, your vote value is still there. We will not use the new census, because if you use the new census, then the problem is what? The problem is the states which have taken no steps for population control get this advantage. Clear? This is the concept of value of vote of 1 MLA. Now, coming to how to calculate the value of vote of MP. This is very simple. Vote value of MP is very simple. Value of vote of 1 MP. So what you are going to do is you calculate the vote value of 1 MLA. Just focus here. Calculate the vote value of 1 MLA. Calculate vote value of all the MLAs of Andhra Pradesh. Calculate vote value of all the MLAs of Arunachal, all MLAs of Assam, all MLAs of Bihar, all MLAs across the country. Find out the total vote value and divide by number of elected MPs. So, total vote value of all the elected MLAs and divided by the number of elected MPs. Simple. No need to divide, multiply anything by 100,000, nothing required. This is the formula. Look at this. This is the total vote value of all the MLAs. You can check also. 543,231. 543,231 divided by number of elected MPs. So we have 543 MPs in the Lok Sabha. In the Rajya Sabha, we have total 245 MPs. Okay. Now 12 MPs are nominated from here. So we know very well that nominated MPs cannot vote, but elected MPs can vote. So what's the total number of elected MPs? 543 plus 233, 776. Divide this by this, you get this number 700. A fixed number of 700. This is the vote value of every MP. Whether Lok Sabha, Raj Sabha, does not matter. Are we clear on this? Please remember the formula. The formula is important. That's it. Let's end our discussion here only today. We have some questions. We'll solve those questions tomorrow. Okay. Please go home, revise thoroughly. The slides, one point, revise the slides taught to you once tonight. Please, tonight, immediately, after say 1 hour, 1.5 hours, and once or twice tomorrow before taking the class. It is extremely important. And I'll take some questions, don't worry. But just to summarize, so your task for tomorrow, number one, revise the PPTs. Number two, please read the book Political Theory, Chapter 1, NCRT book. All those who are preparing for the next year, 2024, please read the Current Affairs Monthly Magazine of the month of January, at least 10 pages, 1 hour. And everybody read the compilation of or gist of, oh sorry, let's read the gist of Yojana only. Start with Yojana gist for the month of August. Apart from it, tomorrow when the newspaper comes, please read the editorials. That's it. Done. In case anybody wants to read Lakshmikant, you can read from Lakshmikant chapter 17. But don't worry, you can skip it also. Are we clear? That's it. We are done for the day. Leaderboard, Shalja, there is no point of leaderboard because I have taken a lot of opinions also. So leaderboard has no point today. Basu. Basu, the formula was given by N.G. Iyengar. So this was given by N.G. Iyengar. Yojana Gist monthly magazine. See, either you download the separate Yojana Gist from the Byju's website, or you can simply take the monthly magazine, and at the back of the monthly magazine you will have the Yojana and NCRT and Kurukshetra compilation gist. Chapter 17. No, Ananya, not complete chapter 17. In case you want to study complete chapter 17. A.S. Hussain, Ram Joy Kapoor case is not required for elaborate discussion here. No Lakshya, they do not know. Madam, read the entire newspaper. Casual reading. Slowly and steadily you'll pick up pace and you'll start understanding what these terms mean, right? But without understanding polity and economics, it may be difficult for you. So once your polity lectures are over, you'll be surprised that you can now understand half the newspaper properly. Lakshmikant, I have just mentioned the chapter. In case somebody wants to read, can read it. Deepa, NCRT book. Political Theory is an NCRT book. Vrinda, because Lakshmikant is not the UPSC syllabus. Charan, at least follow these things. They don't need anything else, right? A.S. Hussain, what you are referring to is sovereignty, not republic. Sir Darni, you will be getting information on this when we study tomorrow, the eligibility criteria. Arey Mehak, political theory, come on here. Not paying attention in the class at all, right? NCERT, class 11. Yes, yes, class is over. Pavan, relax. You have studied nothing right now. How can I give a mains question? This week, no mains discussion. However hard you cry and try, I will not give you any question this week. On Friday, we'll discuss the mains answer writing first, and then only I feel you'll be fit to write answers. Have patience. 5 days only. The journey is for 1 and 2 years, right? 5 days is nothing. Vishal, PPTs. Yes, Anubhav. Kirti, hundreds of times now I said it is not important to mug up all the articles. Please, yeah, come on. Tejas, NEP is just a policy. Don't worry, it is not in violation of the provisions. No, madam, not really required. Jatal, chapter 17. President. Yes, Sumit, for 2024 preparation. Bhagya, no, not required. Kirti, sir, I. What is sir, I? Chandrasekhar, prefer the to complete those 4 months also. No, Divya, PSIR is separate optional. Amral, by-elections we'll discuss later on. When there's a vacancy in the seat, we have by-elections. Yes, Keith, you can watch that. If you are a beginner, of course, you can watch that. Mayank Vadwani, it will take too much of time. See, if you don't understand some point, go through the video again. But sitting for the entire video will waste time. So, selective studies. Look at the PPTs. If you find some doubt, look at the video, revise. That's it. Madam, constitution book, I have referred to the book list, madam. That is sufficient. Autonomous, independent body, Divya. Independent body, not controlled by anybody. Chetna, Rajwa elections later on. Pavitra, weekend batch, right? They are essential as and when required. No, Akula, not really required. Yes, Kirtiraj, part of lower court. No, Sumu, that's not the case. Laws are different, constitutional amendments are different. Chapter 17 of the 6th edition, Hima. Chavan, go through the video again. Rajan, see, 1971 census has been taken because in that census we tried to keep the population of constituencies as far as equal. It can't be exactly equal, as far as equal. No, Sumo, political theory is a mandatory book. The content is separate. Please open the book. Divyanshi, what is your question here? Hey, Manam, I am telling you chapter 17 from Lakshmi Khan. Read that book. Yes, Mayank Vadwani. Anu 105. Vaishnavi, don't write answer. You write the question. There are so many people who write questions. It keeps on scrolling fast. Don't write please answer. Don't ignore me. All these things. Write the question. Rajan will discuss this when you study governor. I'll explain this in a better fashion there. Yes, yes, you can leave for now. Guys, I think that's all. Your experts will keep on addressing your concerns. If you have any doubts left, we'll discuss those tomorrow as well. Right? Till then, that is all for me. Jai Hind. Sir, if we read all three, Byju's magazine, Yojana and Kurukshetra, Byju's monthly magazine is that only, madam. Right? Read the Byju's monthly magazine. Don't read anything else. Okay? Great. So, as I said, your experts will keep on addressing your concerns. Till then, that is all for me. Let's meet tomorrow. Jai Hind.